This task, editing audio, will be accompanied by 2 handout worksheets. The task description for this task is: the local recording studio has employed you as an assistant engineer in the studio. Part of your job description requires you to work at a digital audio workstation, cleaning up audio files, splitting audio files, reordering components of an audio file. In the recording studio, much time is spent cleaning up the audio file, creating duplicates, breaking up audio files into small segments, separating regions, creating fades, removing unwanted noises, etc. This task requires you to work with the 3 audio components of TPX7, as you might be directed to do by the sound engineer at the studio, and complete the task independently within your teacher-nominated time frame. For this assessment task, I will be demonstrating what you will be needing to do for each of the assignments. For the first one, 3.1 voice setting, what you need to do on the track label counting, you need to separate all the numbers. So I will do this quickly for you, what you need to do.
1, 2, 3.
So what I'm doing is you need to separate all of these together. You can press shortcut key command, which is backslash or escape, and select resist tool instead and cut it this way. So I'm just going to do a few. You have to do the whole thing. Next, what you need to do is you need to trim region back to where the audio file starts. So this waveform has a fair bit of a gap before it starts. What you need to do is you need to trim this so it finishes as is. And you need to do this for the rest of the audio files. Once you have done that, you need to create a fade in at the beginning of the region. In Logic, to create a fade, what you need to do is highlight a region and then select this on fade in. Click in on the blank space above and type 25. This will give it a fade in, and to do fade out, you click down here and then type 25, and they'll do fade in, fade out. You need to do this for all of these regions once you have cut them up to exactly basically what I have done on here. Once you have done all these regions with all the numbers and create a fade in, fade out, what you need to do is you need to create a track. To create a track in Logic, click on the plus icon up here, and what we need to do is create an audio track and then click create. Back to phone number, what you do is you double click on here and type phone number and press enter. Once you have completed this, you need to paste all of these numbers to correspond to your mobile or home phone number. Once this is done, you have completed 1 of 3 for this assessment task. Part of this task requires you to do the same, but you have to remove all of the unwanted errors in this voice dialogue. An example will be played.
Okay, we ready? All right. In any recording session, there is a great deal of things for you to do. Sorry.
So all the mistakes
that
are on this dialogue need to be edited. Also, it needs to be shown that when the guy is speaking, it needs to be concise and correct, especially with the breathing. Done, the completed voice dialogue should sound like this.
In any recording session, there is a great deal of things for you as the engineer to remember. And that's just the theory about recording principles. On top of that, there is a further role played by the engineer, and it is to keep the session on track. The best way to make sure that the session...
Once you have completed this, this is the end of part 2 of 3 of this assessment task. This task is you need to do the same with a drum kit. On here we have 5 tracks which are played. First one being tom 1, tom 2, tom 3, and these ones are overhead left and overhead right. What you need to do is you need to remove the unwanted audio from tom 1. So example, the unwanted audio is basically all the sound. What you basically want to keep in for this is the sound. That one and these other ones. The rest you're hearing is basically bleed from those other microphones. Then you do the same for this track, and this track. You have done, this is what the toms should look like for all these 3 tracks. 1, 2, and 3. This is what it should sound like with the overheads on. once you have done this, all of this assessment task is completed.